Alpharius Omegon, known by many names, Aleph Null, the Hydra, the threefold serpent, the final configuration, and the last Primarch, was not a single being but a pair of identical twins, Alpharius and Omegon. Created by the Emperor in the dawn of the Imperium, they remained hidden in shadow more than any other Primarch. As the Lords of the Alpha Legion, they cloaked themselves in secrecy, their presence often undetected among their own space marines. Misdirection and lies swirled around them, until truth itself became just another tool of deception. Welcome, lore lovers, to Liandrug, the place where secrets unravel and legends rise from the shadows. Today, we dive into the enigmatic tale of Alpharius and Omegon, the twin Primarchs cloaked in mystery, masters of deception, and architects of the unseen. Alpharius Omegon, the Hydra, Aleph Null, the last Primarch, remained cloaked in the riddles from the very start. Unlike his brothers, he was not one but two identical twins, Alpharius and Omegon, a secret shared only among the Alpha Legion and the Emperor himself. Whether his duality was intentional or a war-born accident, none could say. Of all the Primarchs, Alpharius was the least known. His origins were muddled by conflicting tales. One whispered story claimed he led a confederation of star systems and ambushed a Luna Wolf's ship. Horus, after falling into a web of traps and ambushes, finally confronted the assassin who had reached his command chamber, only to recognize a brother in the killer. Thus was Alpharius supposedly found. Another version spoke of a desolate dead world near the Mandragoran stars, where the infant Primarch survived alone among alien ruins. When scavengers arrived, Alpharius killed them, stole their ship, and began a journey to find his creator. Yet another account described a young Alpharius captured by the Sloth, vile Xenos who twisted his mind and used him as a living weapon until the Emperor himself stormed their vessel and reclaimed his son. Still, other versions claimed Alpharius was raised in secret near Terra, molded by the Emperor in solitude. Whatever the truth, Alpharius eventually returned to the Imperium and was reunited with his father. There was celebration, but the moment was brief. He was swiftly given command of the 20th Legion. Together with Omegon, who shared his form and soul, Alpharius led the Alpha Legion in secrecy and cunning. None beyond their legion knew the truth of their dual leadership. The Alpha Legion, young but zealous, embraced their Primarch's methods: precise coordination, sabotage, stealth, and misdirection. They operated apart from the other legions, even when fighting side by side. Many found their ways dishonorable, their behavior mocking, but their effectiveness could not be denied. Their record of victories grew rapidly. On Testra Prime, they allowed the enemy to entrench, then shattered them through sabotage and ambush. When asked why they avoided a simpler victory, Alpharius answered, "It would have been too easy." Guilliman and others condemned this waste of resources, but Horus admired the brilliance. The Alpha Legion continued in their own way, perfecting the art of war in shadow and earning both fear and distrust from their brothers. In the shadowed days before the Horus Heresy, Alpharius Omegon stood apart, a twin-souled Primarch shrouded in secrecy. Of all his kin, he only knew Horus, and so when the rebellion erupted at Isvan V, the Alpha Legion struck with precision, helping annihilate the Iron Hands, Salamanders, and the Raven Guard. It echoed Alpharius' earlier stratagems. Yet whispers suggested a deeper reason for their betrayal, one known only within the Legion. 2 years before the Heresy, during the compliance of North, the twins were approached by the Cabal, a secretive Xenos alliance led by the Eldar and a man called John Grammaticus, a perpetual who had once met the Emperor himself. The Cabal claimed to foresee the future. They showed Alpharius two fates. In one, the Alpha Legion remained loyal, and the Emperor triumphed, but he would be crippled, entombed upon the Golden Throne. 10,000 years of stagnation would follow, ending in Chaos's ultimate victory and humanity's extinction. In the other, the Legion sided with Horus, who would slay the Emperor and then, stricken by guilt, destroy humanity in a century of fire. Chaos, fed by human souls, would die with mankind. A clean death, they say. Alpharius and Omegon chose sacrifice. They joined Horus to kill Chaos forever, even if it meant dooming their species. But Horus failed, the Emperor endured, and Chaos still festers. Had the Cabal lied, were the twins played like pawns? During the Heresy, the Legion's operations remained shrouded. On Deliverance, after Iswan, they infiltrated the Broken Raven Guard, posing as their dead, sabotaging Corvus Corax's attempt to rebuild his legion with pure Primarch DNA. The Raven Guard suffered monstrous mutations, their future shattered. Alpharius handed falsified data to Fabius Bile, but kept the real prize, hoping to elevate the Alpha Legion alone. Soon after, Alpharius severed ties with the Cabal, declaring the 20th Legion would act by its own design. Later, at Chondax, the Alpha Legion acted again, this time under Omegon's quiet hand. They blockaded the White Scars, suppressing communications with Xenos tech to keep them in the dark. But then Omegon destroyed the very device, jamming their signals. The White Scars received a warning from Rogaldorn and escaped. Omegon had ensured they would fight for Terra. If you are enjoying the deep lore of the twin Primarchs, do me a quick favor, like this video and subscribe to Liandrug. Every click helps the channel grow, so I can keep bringing you more stories about the darkest corners of the Warhammer universe. Now let's get back to the labyrinth of lies. Their actions sparked suspicion. Mortarion questioned their loyalty, but Horus dismissed it. The Alpha Legion remained enigmatic, playing both sides, perhaps loyal to none but their mission. Whether traitors, heroes, or something else entirely, Alpharius and Omegon left behind only questions and a legacy of doubt. In the shadow of defeat at Chondax, Alpharius turned his gaze to the wounded walls of Fenris. Leman Russ had pulled his ravaged legion to the Alaxis Nebula, still reeling from the burning of Prospero. It was there, amidst the swirling mist, that the Alpha Legion struck. Old grievances fueled the assault. Russ had long despised Alpharius' methods, scorning subterfuge for what he deemed honest war. Alpharius would now prove the worth of guile over brute force. As the space walls struggled under the onslaught, Russ called out to Jagatai Khan. But the Kagan, wary and undecided, returned to Prospero, seeking clarity. Russ was left to face his end alone, morale shattered. The Wolf King retreated into silence, leaving command to his first captain. When all seemed lost, Russ returned to the bridge of Hrafnkel, blades drawn, to face the Alpha Legion. In the chaos, a figure, Alpharius or merely a mimic, clashed with Russ in personal combat. Victory was near when salvation arrived, not from Fenris, but from Caliban. The Dark Angels descended upon the field with the Chimera, breaking the Alpha Legion's grip and driving them into the void. Elsewhere, Alpharius moved in shadows. On the forgotten world of Lerna 212, he wore the guise of Shadrach Meduson, deceiving even the shattered legions aboard the Sisypheum. Only after his purposes were fulfilled did the mask drop, and the survivors fled with the truth. Yet the greatest of his schemes lay ahead. The solar system had become a fortress under Dawn's watchful eyes. Alpharius, ever the infiltrator, would not break its walls by strength but by deception. His agents, trained to follow shifting orders with a single word, moved in silence across Terra. One cell, buried for decades, reached the Investiary, where statues of traitors lay hidden beneath shrouds. They destroyed all but two, their own and Dawn's, leaving a chilling message. Dorn, burning with silent fury, locked the Investiary and kept the incident secret. But Malkador knew. Somehow he always knew. Then came the Battle of Pluto. Harrow Master Kel Silonius struck first, seizing Pluto's moons, but the real blow came from Alpharius himself. His fleet drifted silently toward the system for a year, cold and dark, until it reached the edge of Sol. Meanwhile, sleeper agents ignited chaos throughout the system, drawing Imperial eyes away from Hydra, the true target. On Hydra, Alpharius led the charge. With him came elite warriors, while Dorn's first captain, Sigismund, held the line with only 30 ships. The Alpha Legion's trap sprang. Fireship sabotage, captured moons, all drained death upon the loyalists. Yet Sigismund endured. Archmos, ever vigilant, uncovered the Alpha Legion's aim. He led an assault on Hydra, reaching Alpharius himself. He fell mortally wounded, but his warning gave Dorn time. The Phalanx arrived in a daring maneuver, slingshotting through Sol's gravity wells. Dorn himself teleported to Hydra's core. Primarch met Primarch. The fight was brutal. Alpharius struck with his pale spear, only for Dorn to take the wound, trap the weapon, and strike back. Alpharius' hands were severed. Dorn's blade, Storm's teeth, split open his brother's skull. At that moment, across the stars, Omegon felt his twin's death. He became Alpharius. the Legion retreated from Pluto, they would not join Horus at Terra, choosing instead to delay reinforcements across the stars, harrying the White Scars on Talorn, clashing with the Space Wolves at Yarant. After the war, they did not flee to the Eye of Terror. The Alpha Legion vanished eastward, chasing new objectives. One led Alpharius to Escador, where Robert Gilliman struck fast, abandoning his own doctrines to surprise the Alpha Legion. Alpharius welcomed the challenge. The two Primarchs fought. Alpharius fell, but the Alpha Legion rose again. The Ultramarines were ambushed, suffering grave losses. After days of bloodshed, they escaped, but the Alpha Legion had shattered them. Yet questions remain. Some say Alpharius did not die, that he lives still, as shadows, as life. For the 20th Legion, death is never the end, only another mask. And that, lore lovers, is the tale of Alpharius and Omegon, or at least the part they wanted us to know. If you enjoy the mystery and the mind games, like, share and subscribe to Liandrug for more stories of Primarchs, Empires and forgotten truths. Don't forget to join our Discord, a cozy sanctuary where lore lovers like you gather to theorize, debate and connect. Until next time, remember, we are all Alpharius.